All right. Good evening, everyone in Singapore, and good afternoon, everyone who's joining in for ITB. So, I am from the International Relations Office. My name's Mrigi. I'm a fourth year undergraduate in Metallurgical Engineering and Material Science. I welcome you all on behalf of the International Relations Office of IIT Bombay. And with us, we have today people joining in from National University of Singapore's Academic Programs and Business Unit. And our presenter today will be Benjamin Day, and we also have with us Alvin and Elaine from NUS. So they will be describing the postgraduate opportunities at NUS at large, and specifically will focus also on some of the popular MSc programs that they have. So looking forward to this presentation, and if you have any questions, use the Q&A tab, and we'll get to the questions towards the end. So over to you, Benjamin. Thank you for joining in.
Sure. Thank you, Murgi, for the very kind introduction. First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and warm greetings from Singapore. So, like Murgi mentioned, my name is Benjamin, and I represent the Academic Programs Business Unit. In short, we call ourselves the APB unit from the National University of Singapore. So, like the name suggests, it is a unit that handles a suite of academic programs for the university. My specific role in the unit is one of academic and admissions counseling. So, I guess it is very appropriate for me to be the one speaking to you today. And on a personal note, I am very honored and privileged to be invited by the International Relations Office of IIT Bombay to share some insights about the higher education opportunities available at NUS, specifically in the form of master's degree programs. So let me just share my slides for today. Yes, so my title for today will be very aptly named as Thriving in the New Normal with NUS. I believe this is a topic that can resonate with everyone right now as we experience disruptions on the unprecedented scale. But with every crisis comes an opportunity. Off the top of my head, one of the main beneficiary of this situation that I can think of has to be technology. So today we are going to discuss how NUS can help you to navigate the new normal. Of course, through a suite of relevant programs and the skill sets that you will acquire from them. So here's an overview of our agenda for today. The early part of our session will feature an introduction of NUS, basically for me to detail our history, our structure, our rankings, our international alliances, and so on and so forth. Then we will proceed to discuss on the prospect of Singapore as a study destination before diving in on the three main graduate programs that will benefit you in today's context. After all of that, we will allocate a 10 to 15 minutes Q&A segment where I will encourage you to submit any questions that you might have. I will try to answer all of them, but in the event that I'm unable to, you can always write to me and we will follow up accordingly. I will share more details on that later. So let's get to the presentation proper, shall we? It is always good to start off with a bit of a history lesson, I suppose. So I am sure that some of you might heard a thing or two about NUS, but for the benefit of the entire audience, as well as to bring you some of the latest updates in our development, allow me to just go through a few slides detailing the background and accolades of NUS. So as you might know, NUS is Singapore's flagship university. In fact, we are the oldest higher education institute in Singapore. And you can trace that all the way back to 1905, where NUS was founded by a local merchant at the time named Mr. Tan Jak Tim, along with a group of local businessmen. The university was primarily established as a medical school at the time, serving the local community. So very humble roots, very humble beginnings. But over the years, we have evolved and progressed into a world-renowned university, characterized by world-class education, of course. So our mission today is to be a leading global university shaping the future. And our mission is to educate, inspire, and transform. We take pride in our 5 core values, which is innovation, resilience, excellence, respect, and integrity. And this forms our intention to serve the wider community, a purpose and value that we have stuck to for the past 115 years. Which brings me to my next slide, a milestone year for NUS. We're actually celebrating our 115th year of founding this year in 2020, and the university will be organizing a series of signature events throughout the year. A lot of them are virtual, so you're more than welcome to attend them. So if any of you are interested, I invite you to visit nus115.sg to find out more. And to cap off the short history lesson, I extracted a very relevant quote from the NUS president, Professor Tang Ing Chai. He says, and I quote, "The university was founded with a mission to serve the wider community. More than 100 years on, as we continue to build a culture of excellence in NUS education and research, we remain committed to making meaningful contributions to advance society, as well as to create a positive impact on Singapore and the world." So nothing much for me to say. It's a very impactful statement and it will chart our direction moving forward. So after enough of the past and more of the present, I suppose, the NUS that you see today is a leading university located in the heart of Asia. We have 17 schools and faculties located across three campuses in Singapore. And from these 17 schools and faculties, we offer a broad spectrum of undergraduate and graduate disciplines, from medicine, law, public policy, all the way to the social sciences. Globally, we offer more than 70 double, joint, and concurrent degree programs with some of the world's top universities, names like Yale University, Stanford University, UCLA, and of course, many more. This next slide is a snapshot of our global footprints. Today, there are a total of 11 NUS overseas colleges around the world in some of the most dynamic cities that you know, places like Silicon Valley, Munich, Shanghai, and many more. And of course, not forgetting student exchange partnerships. Before the COVID-19 situation, NUS traditionally received close to 2,000 exchange students in a typical academic year. We work with a network of more than 300 universities across 40 countries to bring cultural diversity like no other university in Singapore. So towards that direction, the university also built U-Town, which is University Town in short, some 6 years ago. As you may know from the name, U-Town is like a small town within the university. So more specifically to the interests of international students, it houses 4 residential colleges, an education resource center, multiple food options, a gym, a swimming pool, a rock climbing wall. Basically, if you're a student residing in U-Town, you will have all your essential and social needs covered. The only thing missing right now is a cinema. But I guess we all have Netflix today, so yeah. But jokes aside, it is really the most beautiful place on campus and the ultimate experience for an international student. So, as a former student myself, I understand that rankings have to be one of the key considerations when it comes to selecting your ideal university. So I've put together a couple of slides to detail some of our recent accolades. You will be able to see that NUS has been consistently recognized as one of the top universities in both Asia and the world. And there are too many rankings for me to go through with you one by one. So perhaps the most relevant and the most recent to point out will be the QS World University Rankings 2021, where NUS is once again ranked top in Asia and 11 in the world. So here's another accolade that I believe is worth mentioning. In the 2018 QS World University Rankings by subjects, NUS is the only Asian university to achieve a top 10 ranking for a grand total of 11 subjects. So from the subjects that you can see here, you should be able to see that STEM is definitely one of the university's core strengths. And I believe when it comes to studying abroad, the study destination has to be one of the most important factors of consideration. I mean, after all, a typical student dedicate about 30, 40 hours to school each week. There's still a large proportion of free time for leisure and social purposes. And I think that's where the study destination comes into play. In order to feel at home, you need to be comfortable in all aspects of your life, whether as a student, as a person, or a working professional. So the question is, why study in Singapore instead of other popular destinations like the US or UK? So with that in mind, and as a Singaporean myself, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons to contemplate doing so. The first reason will be basically like a recap of the presentation so far. Singapore offers an excellent education system, as you can see across my slides. The standard of education is good across all levels. All of our universities and education institutes are modern and well equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. And most importantly, all 6 of our autonomous universities are ranked very favorably worldwide, with NUS, of course, being the best ranked. And I can't emphasize anymore, top in Asia and 11 in the world. The second reason has to be affordability, especially when compared to other major destinations like the US, UK, or even Australia today. And of course, we are also very much helped by the country's close proximity to India. But besides all that, other aspects such as lodging, dining, and public transport also remains very affordable and manageable. So maybe let's just use transport as an example. Train fares in Singapore are among the lowest compared to other major cities of the world. If you take a typical 10-kilometer train journey, commuters pay a grand total of approximately 70 rupees in your currency. And I know that in certain countries like Australia or the UK, it will be practically impossible to reside in the suburbs or away from the university. But for Singapore, because of how small the country is, as well as our well-connected train network, it really doesn't matter where you live. You can basically get from the east to the west of Singapore within an hour or so, and we within the 70 rupees that I just quoted. So very much affordable compared to the major destinations that you see right here. So the third reason we got will be Singapore's position as a leading global business hub. Alongside our ranking as the best business environment in Asia Pacific and the world, we are also concluding various free trade agreements with major economies such as the US, the European Union, China, Japan, India, Korea, and so on. So all this contributes to multinational corporations having increased presence and setting up their headquarters in Singapore. Off the top of my head, some of the big names that I can think of are companies like Unilever, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Apple, all the tech giants, and of course Dyson, who announced last year that it will be moving its global headquarters to Singapore as well. Next reason I would like to highlight will be Singapore's multicultural society. This will be important when it comes to your integration into Singapore society. So Singapore's multicultural society basically comprises of 4 major ethnic groups: the Chinese, the Malays, the Indians, and of course some smaller minority groups. So for Indian students, you do not have to worry too much about integrating into our society. You can take it from me, you will feel completely at home in Singapore, as there will be many familiar faces around, and you can pretty much get around anywhere with a reasonable command of the English language. And last but not least will be the fact that Singapore is one of the cleanest and safest countries in the world. If you have visited Singapore before, I'm sure you'll be able to see how clean and green the country is. And perhaps more relevant in the current context today is a study conducted by Deep Knowledge Group, a Hong Kong-based investment firm, where Singapore is ranked 4th in the list of safest country to live in, even during the pandemic. Yeah, so the crime rates are especially low, and you will feel completely safe walking the streets at night. So in line with India's drive towards emerging technologies, the Singapore government also have plans to harness technology to stay ahead as a global city. So this will be in the form of our Smart Nation initiative. And the university's latest focus is to use all our expertise in data science, operations research, and cybersecurity to support this particular initiative. So countries-wise, we are both very aligned towards this push towards a smart nation and a smart city. And before we dive into the 3 specific programs that will very much support this initiative, I just want to provide an overview of our graduate offerings. NUS have 17 schools and faculties, like I mentioned just now. And through these 17 schools, faculties, and institutes, we offer more than 80 master degree programs. So if you're interested in any programs outside of the 3 that we will cover shortly, you can always leave your details in a form, which I will share at the end of this session. So with that said, let's now go through the first featured program for today's session, the Master of Science in Industry 4.0. This is a fairly new program. It was launched 2 intakes ago, and it's a multidisciplinary program specifically created to help accelerate Singapore's Smart Nation drive. It is multidisciplinary because it taps on the expertise provided by not one, not two, but five NUS schools faculties. The modules are developed and offered by the School of Computing, the Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Science, Institute of System Science, and our School of Lifelong and Continuing Education. So this is how the program structure will look like. Like most master degrees offered at NUS, you will have to complete a total of 40 modular credits. In short, we call it MCs. MCs will be spread across the 5 core modules that you see here, which will constitute 20 MCs. And the elective portions will make up the remaining 20 modular credits. All students will go through 5 core modules before choosing a graduate certificate of their choice from the elective portion. As you know, Industry 4.0 is usually seen as a very broad area, so the elective portion is where students can choose their specializations according to their profession or interest. All students will have to go through the industry consulting and application project, which is a core module as well. To make it as applicable and practical as possible, you'll be working with companies, participating organizations on real projects. So some of these organizations that we work with include Dell, Micron, JTC, and so on and so forth. So be assured that you'll be working with some of the top players in Singapore embracing Industry 4.0. Next, let's take a look at the admission requirements. It's pretty standard. We are looking for candidates holding a basic bachelor's degree, preferably with honors, of course, and coming from a STEM background. And of course, if your prior qualifications are not conducted in the English language, then you will have to demonstrate your English proficiency by taking the TOEFL or IELTS test. You can see the minimum scores that are required on this slide that's being presented to you. And for full-time studies, the program duration will take anywhere from 12 to 18 months. For the tuition fees, is currently at 46,500 Singapore dollars. So based on current conversion rate, it will be approximately 34,000 USD. And we have our next intake in August 2021. I will share the application window with you later. While Industry 4.0 is really among us in the industry, I understand this might be a fairly new discipline for an academic program. So I've put together some common career options that you may consider upon completion of the program. You can see that many of these roles require holistic understanding of Industry 4.0 as compared to having limited knowledge in just one specific area like 3D printing, for example. So these are some of the common careers enjoyed by our graduates of this program. Now let's go on to the second featured program in today's session, which is the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning. This is a new multidisciplinary program as well, jointly offered by the Faculty of Science, the School of Computing, the Faculty of Engineering, and the School of Public Health. So we'll be having our upcoming intake in August 2020, and judging from the response gathered from the recent application window, this is definitely one of the university's most popular programs. Similar to the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, the program structure will have you complete 40 modular credits with 20 modular credits worth of core modules and 20 modular credits worth of electives. Likewise, you'll be required to choose from a wide selection of graduate certificates for your electives. I will not go through this in detail as this is very much similar to the previous structure. So for admission requirements, candidates should ideally possess a 4-year bachelor's degree in the disciplines of quantitative science or engineering. So quantitative science means mathematics, applied mathematics, computational mathematics, statistics, and physics. So these are some of the common disciplines of quantitative science, So likewise, if you do not carry any prior qualifications conducted in the English language, you will be required to attempt the TOEFL or IELTS test. This program can be done within 12 to 24 months for a full-time mode of study. And regarding tuition fees, the investment will be 45,000 Singapore dollars in USD. That will be about 33,000 USD. Now let's take a look at the potential career opportunities upon completion of this new program. Very essential to both Singapore and India's push towards big data and analytics. There will be prospective roles like data scientist, data engineer, and machine learning scientists. And the beauty of it is that digital transformation is supposed to take place across all sectors. So these roles will be very applicable across a wide variety of sectors such as healthcare, finance, retail, and logistics, and of course, many more, which are not listed here. And just in case if any of you is interested to find out more about how data science or this program in particular can impact our lives in the near future, you might want to take a look at this article written by the academic director of this program, Professor Zhang. So you can find the full article at our website under the Data Science and Machine Learning Program tab, or simply Google MSc Data Science and Machine Learning, and it should be the top search result. Lastly, our third featured program for today will be the Masters in Computing, a traditionally popular program offered by the NUS School of Computing, Asia's leading computing school, as they say. The program offers 5 area specializations in the form of its general track and subsequent specializations in computer science, information systems, infocom security, and artificial intelligence. Of course, a very new, interesting topic today. So let's now take a look at the general track first. Starting from January 2021, this is a new track, and it's mainly a track that's designed primarily for students with a non-computing undergraduate degree, with the aim to provide an accelerated conversion to the computing field, of course. So the difference between this track and the other specializations will be that students will be required to complete 3 bridging modules first, worth about 12 modular credits, before diving into the program proper, where you start off with the core modules before moving on to the electives and eventually the capstone project. So pretty much standard from then on. But then since you have a non-computing background, you will have to attempt 3 bridging modules first. So the intention of the bridging modules is, of course, to help you, because you do not have a computing background, to get up to speed with the fundamentals of the computing discipline. Next, let's dive into the 4 area specialization. So first up, we have the computer science specialization, where you will have 3 different options for the program in the form of the coursework option, the project option, or the dissertation option. So the flexibility of this is to allow students to attempt the program based on their preferences and also their unique skill sets. Some students might prefer a more conventional approach, like a coursework structure where you take just your core modules and your elective modules and be done with it. So of course, these students will opt for the coursework option. And then there are some students who might relish the experience to work on a significant industry computing project with a participating organization. So these students can opt for the project option, of course. And then lastly, there are always those who love independent study and research. So for this group of students, they can always opt for the dissertation option. All 3 options will be the same, 40 modular credits. The only difference is the methods and also the way that you will go through the program. So it's important as you base it on your preferences and also your core strengths. Next, we have the information system specialization. Similarly, it offers students with the flexibility to complete their program by selecting one of the below options, either the coursework option, the project option, or the dissertation option. So I will not go through it in detail, as the structure is similar to the one that you've seen before. Yeah. Then we have the infocom security specialization with the offer of only 2 options, the project option and the dissertation option. Likewise, I won't go through this in detail as the structure will be similar as well. And lastly, we have the artificial intelligence specialization with only 2 options as well. But this will be the coursework option and the dissertation option instead. Yes. All right, so now for admission requirements, candidates should ideally possess one of the following: either a good honors degree in computing, or if you do not have an honors degree in computing but in a related discipline, you have to couple it with 2 years of relevant IT industry experience. And then if you have a degree in computing but without honors, you have to top it up with 2 years of IT industry experience as well. And then lastly, if you have a bachelor's degree or even an honors degree but totally unrelated in the business related disciplines, then you have to also accompany that with 2 years of relevant IT industry experience. So for duration wise, the entire program can be completed in 36 months. So this is the minimum and the maximum candidature of the program. And for language requirements, if you do not hold any prior qualifications conducted in the English language, you will be required to attempt the TOEFL or the IELTS test with the minimum scores of 90 and 6.0 respectively. Additionally, international participants will be required to submit a GRE or GMAT test score to demonstrate their readiness for graduate study. And lastly, for tuition fees, the general track will see an investment of USD 43,000, while any of the specializations will cost you about USD 35,000. Yeah. So these are some of the relevant intakes and the window that I believe you should take note of if you're interested in any of the programs that I just mentioned just now. So for the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, we have upcoming intake in August 2021, where the application window typically opens from 1st of November to 31st January. So if you are one of those who are interested in this program, I think there's only about 2 months or so to get ready all your documents and then prepare for an application. Yeah. So likewise, for the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning, the next intake will be August 2021 with the same dates for the application window. So very short time frame for you to get ready your documents and to submit application during the 2-month window. Yeah, and for Masters of Computing, it's a little bit different. We have 2 intakes per academic year, namely in January, before followed by August. So right now we are actually open for the January 2021 intake, where the window will remain open until 15th of September 2020. So if any of you is ready for January, then of course you can submit your application right now with all the required documents and tests, of course. And then subsequently, after January, we have also a traditional August 2021 intake where the application window is expected to open in the period of November or December all the way to 15th of March. So if you like more advice or if you like more information on this, feel free to leave us your contact details and we will like to get to you via a one-to-one personalized session where we can advise you more on your academic suitability, your eligibility, and also help you prepare those required documents to submit your application. Yeah, but with that, here are the important dates that you should take note of, and here are the important windows where you can submit an application. So I guess I'm pretty early. Yeah. So yeah, I've come to the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, feel free to direct them to me in the comment section that you see on WebEx, and I'll try my best to answer. If time does not permit me to answer some of your questions, then feel free to leave your details by scanning the QR code that you see here, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Alternatively, you can also always write to us directly at pgc@nus.edu.sg. Yes.
So thank you so much for the presentation, Benjamin. I think I can read out the questions from the
Sure.
Q&A tab and the ones that we had collected earlier.
Of course,
So,
we have some questions coming in, right, during the course of the presentation.
yeah, correct.
Yeah, I got some notifications and so.
Sure. All right. So Ketan has this question that are students holding degrees in electrical or mechanical engineering, which are not totally mathematics degree in particular, would they be able to apply for the data science or the computing program?
So I'll talk about the data science program first. Maybe I'll just go back to my deck of slides. Yes, so this is the basic admissions criteria for the Master of Data Science and Machine Learning program. So you can see that the programs encourage applicants to have a basic 4-year bachelor's degree in quantitative science or engineering. So if you have an electrical or mechanical engineering bachelor's degree, I believe it equates to having a degree from the Faculty of Engineering. So you will pretty much fall under the condition of having a degree in engineering. So yeah, I will encourage whoever that's asking this question to probably leave us your details and then we will need to take a look at your specific qualification and of course other factors such as your professional experience or internship experience, because we view application in a holistic manner. So it is better for us to take a proper view before advising you accordingly. But having an engineering degree will probably fall under that condition. Yeah. So yeah, that's the answer for the first question. For the second program that he's inquiring is Masters of Computing, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So masters in computing, you either have a computing degree or not. So if you do not have a computing degree, then like what is shown here, the university will prefer you to have at least 2 years of related experience. And by related experience, we will typically refer to experience that is accumulated in the IT industry. Yeah. So I think that's answer the questions of the inquirer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I invite him to leave us his details, and then yeah, we can take a holistic view of his credentials and then get back to him in a more proper manner. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Benjamin, for answering that. So we have a lot of
Mm.
questions pouring in regarding whether there are scholarships available for these programs. So Rishabh, Savneek, and a lot of others have asked questions about scholarship opportunities.
Scholarship, we have quite a few as well, especially under the Masters of Computing. So likewise, in order for me to know the full picture, I will encourage these inquirers to leave down their contact, and then I can get back to them to let them know which of the specific scholarship will suit them better and which of these scholarships they will be eligible to apply for, because some of these are only applicable for Singaporeans or permanent residents, whereas some are open to all, including international students. So yeah, there are scholarships. That's the short answer to the question. But in order for me to let you know which one is the most suitable, yeah, please leave us your details and we will get back accordingly.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Mm,
So
mm.
there are also questions about whether there will be opportunities to work in Singapore after an MSc from NUS. So could you talk about the job opportunities as an international student after the degree?
Sure, sure. So I'm pretty sure when it comes to Indian students, a lot of them are concerned about the placement opportunities, right? I mean, you can correct me when I'm wrong, but I mean, just to let you know upright that there wouldn't be any placement opportunities for any of these programs. And whether they will be guaranteed a job after completion of the program, I can't answer that as well, because we are university, we are not employer. But whether we really increase their chances of getting a better job in Singapore or anywhere else in the world, I'm pretty sure NUS will be able to help in that aspect. And now we also have a career center that is specifically tasked to help graduating students or graduates with matching them, in terms of matching them to the suitable jobs that we have available in our industries. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question.
Right. Thank you for expanding on that. So we have a question. So I'm not sure if you can answer this for all of the applications in general, but what
Mm-hmm.
is it that NUS is looking for in applicants for a master's degree? So it's sort of broad. So if you could,
Yeah, it's a rather generic question, because
yeah,
every program will have its specific set of entry requirements like you see here.
right.
So yeah, the what I will just advise, or what I will say is minimally you have to hold what is stated in the admissions criteria that you see here of each program. So if you do not, let's say if you apply for the data science and machine learning program and you do not happen to have a bachelor's degree in quantitative science or engineering, maybe you have an accountancy degree or something like that, I mean, just for illustration purposes, then chances are you might not be suitable. And if you're not suitable, obviously the university will not want to accept you as well. I mean, because that's for your own good. So, but with that said, the places for these programs are very competitive as well. So if you meet the minimum entry requirements, I will encourage you to apply. But what I would like to emphasize is that it doesn't guarantee that you will be able to secure a spot in the program, because there are many others that are equally qualified. Yeah. But the admissions committee for all these programs, we take a holistic view when it comes to assessment of applicants. So not only academic credentials are important, we usually pair them up with professional credentials and also uh, relevant industry experience. So perhaps that will unlock some of the key things that you want to hear, because if you don't meet it, for some programs, if you don't meet the academic credentials part, you can always try to submit application if you have any relevant experience in that sector or industry. Yeah.
Right, thank you. I think that answers that.
Yeah. Is that
So,
a sufficient answer?
yeah, I hope. So
Okay.
if
Yeah.
you have a follow-up question, I would encourage them to put it again in the Q&A.
Yes, yes. So just leave us your details, because like I mentioned, every applicant is unique. Everyone has a unique set of academic and professional credentials. So in order for us to assess it more properly, right? Yeah, leave us your details, and then yeah, describe your background to us, and then we will follow up accordingly. Yeah. So yeah. You have the next question?
Yes. So if somebody who has a STEM degree, but not necessarily related to data science or machine learning, but maybe during their academic course, they've also taken
Mm-hmm.
courses related to ML and AI. So will that be enough for them to directly apply for the MSc degree, or would they be required to have work experience for 2 years in the industry?
For the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine
Machine
Learning,
learning. Yeah, that's
is that right? Okay, for this program, if you can see here, the admission criteria doesn't state that work experience is required. Although, I mean, even if you have relevant work experience, it will definitely help in your application bid. But you do not have to strictly have it. I mean, it's not strictly mandatory. So if the applicant or the inquirer in this case has a STEM related degree, then I will encourage the applicant to give it a try. But like all my previous answers to all the previous questions, it'll be better for him or her to let me know specifically what specific discipline or STEM degree does he possess, and then I can perhaps do a more suitable assessment of his eligibility for him or her. Yeah, but yeah, if you have a STEM background, then I will say we are pretty open. Yeah. Uh,
right. Thank you so much. So there's a question from Karthik. So how do the MSc and MEng programs differ for a student who wants to do an industrial job in, say, aerospace engineering after the degree? So could you talk about the MEng program in comparison with the MSc program?
Okay, so from this question, I will assume that the MSc program he's referring to is MSc Industry 4.0, because that is usually where the comparison starts, a broader area towards mechanical, masters in engineering, right? If I hear you correctly, Em.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so if you want to work in a specific field or sector, like the aerospace sector, even though I think it's not doing really well right now, but if you know your specific goals, and then obviously go for the specific program that will take you to your goals. But what I will just like to highlight is that the MSc in Industry 4.0 is a very broad program, and currently all sectors, all industries have to go through digital transformation and Industry 4.0. So if you would like to open up your options a little bit more and not just confine yourself to a specific sector or industry or specific scope of work, then MSc Industry 4.0 might be for you. Because if you look at the career options that we have unearthed here from our research, you can see that it is not restricted to any specific field or sector. It's actually quite wide. I mean, from this program, if you have the relevant background, you can even be a data scientist, and you don't have to specifically take a data science and machine learning program. So that's the beauty of it, because not everyone wants to dive in on a specific field or discipline. So as much as I want to learn about data science, I might not be ready to take an entire program that will spam me information about data science and machine learning and AI. So I'll need something different. I'll need something more broad. I'll need different specialization to choose from. But at the end of the day, I will still need this qualification to ensure my career readiness. Yeah. So that's how I interpret it. This will open up many doors for you, because all industries right now, I'm not sure about India, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. All industries right now in Singapore is going through Industry 4.0, and the pandemic has only shown that it will be accelerated. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So I hope that answers the question. So there are some questions that are related to some specific MSc programs, the ones that weren't covered here over here. Maybe if you have any idea about those. So
Sure,
for
sure.
example, sure. So So Atitsan has this question that could you please shed some light on the bioinformatics, biomodeling, and computer-aided drug design MSc program, and whether it's suitable for somebody who's majoring in chemistry?
I will very much say so. I mean, from off the top of my head, because he's majoring in chemistry, it will seem like a relevant field because all these are housed under the Faculty of Science. So yeah, off the top of my head and from this information that I've gathered, I will say that yeah, it's relevant. But like mentioned, just drop me your contact details with along with your academic history, and then we can do a more comprehensive assessment of your suitability. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So there's another question, like for example, if somebody, it's related to this one, like for example, if you want to apply for an MSc in mathematics or an MSc in bioinformatics, but that's not necessarily what you did in your undergraduate degree, maybe some part of it was. So how would you position yourself in the application?
Okay, I think this is a common question because not everyone wants to continue in the same discipline as what they did in their undergrad studies. So obviously, sometimes your undergrad shed a lot of light on the things that you're suitable or not suitable for. So yeah, if you have some relevance in your undergrad discipline, I believe you will be able to at least attempt to you will be able to at least qualify under one of the conditions, but I still need to know the larger picture. What is the specific study discipline that the person has acquired in his undergraduate study in order to give a more proper answer. But if you have some relevance, I believe, and if you have relevant work experience, even better. So with that together, you might be able to submit an application for the program. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much, Benjamin, for answering that.
Yeah,
So there's
maybe I'll just give an illustration. Like maybe let's take the data science and machine learning program for example. So yeah, you engineering is somewhat relevant, but not totally relevant to data science and machine learning. You will probably think that statistics or quantitative science will be a much more relevant discipline. But if you see here, the admission criteria says that students with engineering background are also open to apply for the program. So I think that's a perfect illustration of my answer just now. I hope it comes across more clearly. Yep.
right, thank you. So there's a question by Mrigang. So people who are interested in fintech, should they opt for a master's in AI or data science or something like general computing?
Fintech, is it? I
Yes.
will say, I mean, on a personal note, obviously there are many differing opinions out there by different people in the industry. But personally, I will say you can consider the Masters of Computing AI specialization. Yeah. So that will give you the the necessary coverage of the core areas as well as the specialization of AI, which is very much relevant to what this inquirer wants to learn about. Yeah. So not so much of data science and machine learning because I think it's a more technical topic. So yeah, there's a lot of statistics and machine learning algorithms involved in that specific program.
Right, thank you so much. So,
Mm.
yeah, so Ketan has a question. So, he was trying to, I think, scan the QR code. So, he has a question. So, regarding leaving details for one-to-one interaction, will it suffice to scan
Mm.
the QR code given on the screen and fill
Yeah,
the
you,
form?
you scan the QR code and then it will get you to a page where you're required to fill out some details in an online form for us. So yeah, maybe it will ask you for your basic contact information so that we can have your permission to contact you through email, and then from there we can further communicate by assessing your academic suitability for any programs that you might be interested in from NUS. Yeah. Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, feel free to scan the QR code and then leave us your details, and then we will get back to you as soon as we can.
Right, thank you. And so, some last few questions. So, for
Sure.
example, yes. So if somebody wants to apply for the MSc in data science, which is applicable to even outside of the STEM domain now. So if they have maybe a design or a humanities background, will they be eligible to apply for the MSc in data science without a tech background?
Humanities or what was the second discipline again?
Design.
Humanities. Yeah, I mean, to be frank, I will say that it will be a far shot because as much as the program admissions state that you need to have a relevant discipline of study like in quantitative science or engineering, yeah, I think for the betterment of the student, it will probably be better for him to pursue something more relevant unless you know between now and his intended application, he goes on and takes some relevant courses in the areas of data science and machine learning. That will help prepare him better, and also that will give us more confidence to accept him as an eventual student of the program. Yeah, but fresh off a design or humanities background, I would just say very outright that the chances might be low. Yeah, if you want to apply for the program.
Right, thank you so much for answering that. And so there's a question that for the January 2021 application, will that
Mhm.
semester be an online semester?
What we are doing right now proves that's the case. So in fact, we have an August 2020 intake. So if I can lend some examples from that intake that's ongoing right now. So there, when it comes to international students, there are basically two options. So they can either do it remotely, online, meaning you can still remain in your home country, in this case, India, and you can still do the program at NUS. Yeah. So another option is, of course, to come over and to be physically present. But we all know that that might be tough right now. So January 2021, I'm just gonna go out and say that we will still have the virtual option because if you look at how things are progressing right now, yeah, I don't think it will change much by January 2021. A better gauge will be to say that by August 2021, there might be some normalcy returning. But we will still, of course, monitor the situation and also seek guidance from our government in Singapore. So for now, yes, the virtual option is available. So if you want to apply, yeah, drop us your details and I will advise you accordingly.
Right, thank you. So piggybacking on the same question, so has the pandemic really changed the intakes for all of the master's programs or other postgraduate programs, for example, PhDs?
The short answer is no. It hasn't changed anything. It only changed the mode of our study. So as I will perhaps link it back to us as our working professionals. So we used to go to the office physically every day. So right now, I think me, you, and most people in India, we are all working remotely. So we are sitting at home and then accessing our laptops, and yeah, everything is virtual. So that's the same thing for studies. Yeah, the quality is the same. The certificate that you get at the end of the day is the same. The quality is the same. The career prospects that you get upon completion of the program is also still the same. So the only difference is the mode of learning. Instead of being required to be there physically, you now have the flexible option of doing it virtually, and you don't even need to travel to a foreign country. You can do it at your home country. So I think it offers more flexibility and more benefits than we might think so. Yeah. So it hasn't changed. All the intakes are still going ahead, and yeah, that's why you see a January intake. You see a August 2020 intake that's happening right now. Yeah, so nothing has changed in terms of the timeline, and everything is going ahead as per schedule.
Right, thank you so much. So now some of these questions are about specific programs. Like, could you give some information about the MSc in chemical engineering, if it's possible for you?
Maybe I'll get the person to leave down his details, and then I will give him the
Sure.
specific information. Are you able to compile all these questions and then send it to us as well? I mean, if any of them doesn't go on and leave their details via the online leads form that we have here.
Sure, all right.
You are able to do so, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
I appreciate if you share it with me, and we will definitely get back to all students. So for programs that are outside the scope today, I believe we don't have much time left as well, about 5 minutes or so before your next section. So I would like to give the students more information and also have the freedom of more time to speak to inquire on a one-to-one basis. So it's better to leave out your contact details, and then we can always communicate more from there, whether it's email or phone call, yeah, or via any online platforms like Zoom or WebEx. Yeah.
right. So
Mm.
since we still have some time remaining,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Any
some
generic
students,
question?
Yeah, so they want to, a lot of students want to know in general about the PhD opportunities at NUS besides the MSc program.
But any specific PhD? If not, my answer will be the same. To leave me
Yeah,
your contact details. Tell me which specific PhD program that you're interested in, and we'll definitely get back to you with the details. Yeah. Otherwise, it's quite wide. Like I shared just now,
yeah,
we have over 80 master's degree, and if you add PhD into the picture, it'll be even more. So yeah, it is. If you were to detail them one by one, I think not even one day is enough. So leave us your details, and then yeah, we'll get back to you with the relevant information.
correct. So I would request all of the attendees, so if they have questions
Yes,
about
yes.
specific PhD programs, to reach out to Benjamin on the site. And
Mm, oh, mm.
right, sorry, please go ahead.
No, no, I'm just trying to say that you have their details as well, right? So I mean, if they posted any questions here, you can also let us. You can also send them over to me, and the university will follow up accordingly. Yeah.
Yes, all right, I'll
Mm,
do that.
mm.
Sure. So finally, I think are there postdoc opportunities available at NUS for international students?
Yes, they are, and I think we have a good portion of these from what I know and from what I see on campus and from my time at the university. Yeah, so with regards to which specific discipline that you're looking at, likewise, leave us your details, and then we will be able to share with you more specifically to your areas of interest.
Right, correct. Thank you so much. So I think with that we have covered almost, I think, all of the questions that have been submitted so far. And
Oh, really?
yes,
All the questions. Mm.
yes, and if there are any specific questions, then everybody's encouraged to reach out to you, of course. And
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so
So you can contact us here, like you see, pgc at nus.edu.sg. Yes, this is the dedicated email for anyone to write in regarding any postgraduate programs. So yeah, feel free to do so, and we usually get back in about a day. Yep.
oh wow, that's great. Thank you. So with that, thank you so much, Benjamin, for walking us through all of these programs. I think the session has been really insightful, and we really got to learn about a lot of new opportunities. And yeah, thank you, Alvin, Elaine, and everybody else at the team at Singapore who helped organize this. And yeah, over to you. Thank you.
Sure, sure. So yeah, thank you IIT Bombay, and thank you the audience for being so well and attentive throughout this